You're being warned slowly. That means they're still not sure what you are. What does that mean? She touched my chest. They fear you. You're the first noise they couldn't echo. Her words echoed in me like a key turning in a lock. They eat on identity, on sound, on memory. But I was still thinking, still aware. I wasn't silent. Not yet. Mira stood. You have to reach the center, Alex. Where the first skin was taken. Burn it, break it, or you'll become another voice in their choir. I followed her again, but something watched us. And as we walked through the next door, we stepped into a room made entirely of mirrors. Hundreds, each one showing a version of me. Different smiles. Different eyes. Some weren't blinking. Mira stopped walking. You'll know the way forward when you see the one who doesn't blink back. And she vanished. Just like that. No scream. No fade out. Just gone. Me. I turned to the mirrors. One by one. I stared into each. They all stared back. Until stared back. Until one didn't. One version of me just smiled. Didn't move. Me didn't mimic. And its mouth slowly opened, revealing rows and rows of teeth. Not human teeth. Not even mammal. It whispered, "Come home." The mirror shattered, and behind it, a staircase descending into the throat of the hollow. I didn't know how long I ran. Upward. Outward. Sideways. Through cracks in the stone. Through screaming corridors and breathing walls. No sense of time here. The hollow bends it like it bends your mind. I don't know how I ended up in the theater. But there it was. A broken, rotting theater. Rows of red velvet seats eaten by mold. Stage lights blinking like dying eyes. And on stage, me. He stood under a single spotlight, dressed like me. Same scar on the wrist, same shoes. But he was too still. No blink, no twitch. Just watching me. "Come up," he said. His voice didn't echo. It went straight into me. I stepped forward like a puppet. Closer. One step. Two. Closer. I stopped. "You're not me," I said. He smiled. "No," he said. "I'm better." I stopped pretending. I shook my head. "I'm not pretending. I'm surviving." "Is that what you call it?" he said, walking toward the edge of the stage. "Clinging to a name, a voice, a memory? You're just feeding them slowly." I embraced it. I stepped back. He jumped down from the stage, quiet as ash. "They don't want the weak," he said. "They want clarity. People who know what they are." He circled me, like a predator. "Let me show you what you really are." He lunged, not with fists, with thoughts. I felt him push into my head. Flashbacks hit me like sledgehammers. My worst lie, my ugliest secret. That night I watched someone die, and did nothing. He showed them all, projected them like film across the walls of the theater. Every seat now filled with faces I knew. All watching, judging, silent, naughty. He grabbed my throat. "You talked too much," he hissed. "You cling to your voice like it means something. It doesn't." I gasped. Then I did the only thing I had left. I screamed. Not words. Just raw, Primal sound. So loud it made the walls crack. So deep, it shook the seats loose. So mine, it made the fake version of me flinch. Then I roared louder, and the projection shattered. The fake me. The echo held his ears, mouth open in a silent scream. He wasn't made to feel sound, only reflect it. He started to bleed from the eyes, then melt. When it was over, I collapsed, alone again, but something was different now. The hollow was listening, not hunting, not whispering, just listening. I stood up, looked around. The theater was empty. No doors, no exits, just a single microphone on the stage. I climbed up, grabbed it, spoke 2 words. I'm here. The lights went out, and something deep, below everything, stirred. This isn't over. This was just the first trial. If the hollow had copies of me, then how many versions of everyone else were already inside? And if it's listening now, what happens when it finally decides to answer back? After the theater, there was only silence. Not quiet, real silence, like the world had been unplugged. I walked through black halls that seemed to move when I wasn't looking. Walls opened and closed like lungs. The air was thick, wet, like breathing inside someone else's mouth. I followed the only thing I could trust, my heartbeat. Then I heard something new. Footsteps. Not mine. Not the hollows. These were fast, clumsy, human, I followed the sound, moving quick. I didn't yell. Not here. I'd learned what shouting could wake up. I turned a corner and saw her. A girl. Pale, dirty, breathing hard like she'd been running for days. She saw me and screamed. Hey! I raised my hands. I'm not one of them. She backed away fast, nearly slipping on the wet floor. Prove it, she shouted. I hesitated. Then I did something risky. I said my name, out loud, clear. Alex. She stared at me for a moment, then lowered her hands. They can't say names, she whispered. They try, but their mouths break when they do. I nodded. Who are you? She blinked. Eliza. We sat in a corner of the breathing hallway. She told me everything. She'd been stuck here for what felt like months, maybe more. Time was broken inside the hollow. She'd seen others. Most didn't last long. Some got taken. Some went quiet. One guy just stopped talking one day. And after that, the shadows started copying him, until there were dozens of him, all whispering in unison. They wore his body like a coat, she said, voice cracking. They even used his laugh. We started moving together. It helped, just hearing someone else's breath. A second set of footsteps. She had maps, scribbled on scraps of paper, doorways that moved, corridors that swallowed themselves, symbols she didn't understand but had memorized. We followed a path she called the loop. She said it led to a room with mirrors, real ones, that hadn't cracked yet. They don't like reflections, she explained. Not real ones. The loop was hell. At one point, we had to crawl through a tunnel lined with whispering mouths. They didn't bite. They talked. Each mouth said something we feared. Mine said, "You were always meant to disappear." Elias whispered, "They only kept you because they needed bait." We didn't answer. We kept moving. That seemed to piss the hollow off. The walls started screaming, not like voices, like metal tearing, bones snapping, glass crying. We ran. We didn't know where, just forward. We found the mirror room by accident. A small square space with one huge mirror across the far wall. Our reflections were there. Still ours. Still moving like us. For now. We sat down. Eliza cried for the first time. I didn't stop her. The hollow was still out there. Still listening. But for now, we were two voices still alive. Two hearts still beating. And that meant we weren't done yet. We found the door on the 4th day. Or maybe the 40th. Time was still broken. But it was real. I swear to you, a black steel door, built into a stone wall that didn't belong here. The air around it was still, like it held its breath. Above the frame, scratched in metal, exit, talked. Just that. One word. We didn't touch it at first. We just stared. Eliza looked at me. What if it's real? What if it's not? I said. She bit her lip. I don't care. I nodded. Me neither. We set up camp across from it. Watched it. Waited. Nothing came through. No whispers. No screams. Just silence. Then, that night, while I slept, I heard it open. Oh. I woke to the sound of shaking breath. Eliza was gone. The door was cracked open, and someone stood in front of it. Not Eliza. It was a man. Tall. Thin. Pale. Head tilted like it was too heavy. And his face was peeling. He looked at me with no eyes and said, "Don't go." His voice was dry, empty, like he hadn't spoken in years. I stepped back. "Who are you?" He didn't blink. "I got out," he said. "I found the other side." Then, "What are you doing here?" He smiled. It was wrong. There is no other side. I grabbed a piece of broken pipe from the ground. He didn't move. "You left? Then came back?" I asked. "No," he said. "I never left." "You're lying." He nodded. "I know, Dursian." He stepped away from the door and whispered, "Your turn." I stared at the door. It looked real. Solid. Dot detail. No voices behind it. No crawling things. No mirrors. Just black steel and silence. I looked at Eliza's map. She had drawn a circle around it with one word. Maybe. I took a breath, put my hand on the handle, and pulled. Light. Dot. Real light. Blinding white, pouring in like a waterfall. I covered my eyes, took one step through, then another. My foot hit dirt, real ground. Air hit my face, cold, clean. I dropped to my knees and laughed. Then I looked back. Eliza stood in the doorway, frozen. The man with the peeling face was gone. She reached out to me, but couldn't move forward. Something invisible held her back. I ran toward her, but every step I took, she moved further away, back into the hollow. "No." I screamed. "I can't," she shouted. Then the door slammed shut between us and vanished, like it was never there. I stood alone in the woods. Everything quiet. No walls breathing. No whispers. No monsters. Just trees. Wind. Stars. Freedom. Minto. But it didn't feel right. It felt too quiet. Like I'd left something behind. Something that wasn't finished. Then I heard it. A whisper. Not from the hollow. from inside me. "You're out, but not clean." And I realized the hollow came with me. The world outside felt wrong. Too clean, too quiet. No hum of streetlights, no buzz of power lines. Just cold wind and empty sky. The trees didn't sway like trees. They shifted, like they were trying to remember how to move. I walked for hours, or maybe days. Birds didn't sing. No animals. Only my footsteps, my breath, and the whisper inside me. At first it was just echoes. Leftovers. Toto. A memory of the hollow clinging to my bones. Then I started hearing things. Footsteps that didn't match mine. Cracks in the sky when I blinked too long. I'd close my eyes to rest. And when I opened them, I'd be somewhere else. Different forest. Same silence. Every time I said my name out loud, the wind stopped. Like the world was listening again. I found a house, eventually. A cabin. Old. Half-rotten. But real. I didn't knock. Just walked in. It smelled like dust and rusted metal. The fireplace was cold. No wood. Just ashes. I dropped to my knees and stirred the ashes with my hand. They were still warm. Someone had been here. Recently. Then I saw it. On the wall. Scratched in what looked like fingernails. Say nothing. Below it. A name. Mine. I stumbled back. The whisper in my head laughed. Not loud. Not cruel. Just amused. Like it was watching me realize. That night, I dreamed of Eliza. She was trapped in the mirror room, banging on glass that wouldn't break, mouth moving, screaming, but I couldn't hear her. Then the glass cracked, not from her, from behind her, and something stepped into her skin like a coat. I woke up choking, not from fear, from smoke. The cabin was burning. I ran out, coughing, gasping, and watched the house collapse into black fire. But there were no flames, just smoke and shadows, moving like snakes. They didn't rise. They crawled along the ground and whispered, "You're not out. You're just deeper. This is still us." I ran. I didn't stop until the trees changed color again, until the air stopped smelling like burnt teeth, until I saw something impossible. A road, painted, cracked from age, with a single sign. Redwell, 12 miles. A town. A real place. People? Cars? Voices? I had to know. I walked. Fast at first. Then faster. Until I was running like the hollow was still behind me. Maybe it was. Maybe it always will be. The whisper was changing now. Not just voices. Memories. Things I never lived. A mother crying over a child I never had. A scream in a language I didn't speak, but somehow understood. The weight of guilt for a face I didn't recognize. Like the hollow was leaking through me. Spreading. Or maybe I was never me to begin with. By the time I reached Redwell, the sun had frozen. Stuck halfway in the sky. Never rising. Never falling. The town was wrong. Too perfect. Paint fresh on every wall. Windows clean. But no people. I walked the streets for an hour. No dogs. No lights. Just empty homes filled with warm food and flickering TVs. Someone had just been here. But no one was here now. Then I found a mirror. Not a big one. Just a bathroom mirror inside a gas station. I stood in front of it for a long time. It showed me, but not me. My reflection blinked slower, smiled wider. Then it leaned forward and whispered, "You brought it with you." I smashed it. Glass flew everywhere, but whisper didn't stop. Not anymore, because now it was in the walls, the air, the sky. Every shadow I passed turned its head to follow me. The town wasn't abandoned. It was waiting for me. One, or whatever I had become. And then I saw her, Eliza Dot, standing at the edge of the town. No expression, no voice. Just a mirror shard in one hand, blood on the other. She opened her mouth, but didn't speak, only let out a long breath, like she'd been holding it for years. And the whisper said, "You're not the only one who got out." She didn't speak, just stood there, holding that mirror shard like it meant something. Blood ran down her wrist, slow and steady, but she didn't flinch. Eliza? If that story found a place in your mind, imagine what the next one will do.